So it's gonna get a little bit loud.
It's like a rocket. It blows them to pieces. We have the skills and we have the drive. All we need is more weapons.
We're meeting with the 126 Ukrainian Marines at a secret location where they trained to fight near Kherson. The 126th Marine Brigade made its name by holding Krinky on the other side of the river in a daring raid behind enemy lines. And they have a few big guns to help repel the Russians. First, this US-made Browning machine gun might look like it belongs to another era, but Ukrainian soldiers can be trusted to make the best out of it. It can hit a target at roughly 2 kilometers from infantry to light armored vehicles and drones.
Very efficient. When they're trying to land or heading towards our positions, it blows them to pieces. A 19.7 caliber is like a rocket. It's super fast. We had to do a landing, and it only took 27 seconds to deploy it, disembark, load, and within 27 seconds, the position was already covered.
A few seconds can decide between life and death, especially when soldiers need to quickly land when they cross the river to raid Russian positions.
Alright, so it's gonna get a little bit loud, as we can hear. So we're on the training ground of the 26, and obviously we can't say mark, but they're currently using some Western equipments which are crucial for for the war effort and for Ukraine's defenses.
Next, meet the Mark 19, a US-made grenade launcher that can throw a 40mm grenade up to 2 kilometers. First developed in the Vietnam War, the 3-man grenade launcher is a nightmare for Russian infantry, Kherson, one of the soldiers, tells us.
It is, so to speak, very quiet. And if you disguise yourself well, it is somewhat difficult to find it. But its striking force is quite powerful against lightly armored vehicles or infantry. It's better against infantry because they're more vulnerable against these grenades.
Speed is key when bringing men to the battlefield or evacuating them. Enter the unit's prized Humvee, a lifesaver during fights. Those light armored vehicles can go up to 100 kilometers per hour. Some heavy weapons are usually mounted on top, but they can be dismounted to evacuate wounded soldiers.
So they're fast, they're solid, they basically potentially can resist some mines. And yeah, that's basically how Ukrainian soldiers can move from point A to point B near a battlefield, and it also helps them a lot actually react extremely quickly against the advance of the Russian army.
The massive American 4x4, popularized during the Gulf War in 1991, serves as a rolling shield against mines and drones here in Ukraine.
I think so, but I haven't checked yet. Well, the main thing is drones. They're the scariest.
The brigade only has 2 so far, but they need more light vehicles to move fast and use the element of surprise against the Russians. Back to the base, time to meet the men. This is where the recruits are trained. For that, the unit can count on Samurai, a battle-hardened commander who climbed the ranks from a simple soldier. Samurai led some units in Krinky, a village now razed to the ground by the Russians on the other side of the Dnipro River. The river helps retain the Russians, but it's also a massive obstacle for the counter-offensive.
The specifics are completely different. Everyone knows that the logistics are very difficult, so such operations must be thoroughly thought through with a cool head. Because we understand that when you lose a lot of personnel during a landing, crossing the Dnipro River may not be possible. It's clear that we've lost a lot of good men, but their sacrifice wasn't for nothing. The gains made on other fronts have given our forces a stronger edge.
The situation is tough, he admits, even in this part of the front line that seems relatively stable. The Russians managed to build up efficient logistical capabilities, and the other side of the river still swarms with Wagner and Pinel battalions.
We are fighting a more powerful enemy, everyone knows this, and they have 10 times more weapons, equipment, and people than we have. We can do anything. We have the skills and we have the drive. All we need is more weapons. We'll learn as we go. We want to liberate our land, but we need the means to do it. With more of these quality weapons and ammunition, we will win no matter what.